Someone plays back a video, maybe a birthday dinner, a work presentation, a casual phone call, and the moment your voice comes through the speaker, something happens. Your face changes, your stomach tightens. You say what almost everyone says. Is that really what I sound like? And then you ask someone to turn it off. This happens to almost every human being on the planet. Across cultures, across languages, across age groups. The reaction is nearly universal, but no one explains why. Not fully, because the answer reaches far beyond acoustics. It goes into how your brain builds your identity, how memory stores your sense of self, and a very old mechanism evolution built into you long before anyone had a recording device. Your voice, the one you hear right now, is a construction, a version of you that exists only inside your own head. Here is what is actually happening. When you talk, sound travels through the air to your eardrums. That is the external path. But simultaneously, a second signal moves through the bones of your skull directly into your inner ear. This is called bone conduction. Bone transmits lower frequencies more efficiently than air, so the voice you hear inside your head is richer, deeper, more resonant. When a recording plays back, the bone conduction is gone. What remains sounds thinner, higher, slightly hollow. Because it does not match the version your brain has stored for your entire life, it triggers something close to rejection. Researcher Silke Paulman at the University of Essex has studied emotional responses to voice perception for years. Her work confirms that we evaluate voices instinctively, often within milliseconds, and that the mismatch between expectation and reality produces a measurable stress response. You are not being vain when you cringe. You are reacting to a genuine perceptual conflict your nervous system cannot easily resolve. But here is where it gets stranger. The discomfort is not just about sound. It is about identity. Your voice is one of the most intimate signals of self you possess. Research published in Psychonomic Bulletin and Review found that people recognize their own voice faster than they recognize the voices of close friends or family. Your brain has your voice memorized at a level deeper than conscious thought. Hearing it wrong is like being shown a photograph of your face taken with a lens that subtly distorts your features. Not grotesquely, just slightly off. You would say that does not look like me, even though anyone else would see a perfectly accurate image. The psychologist Robert Zionk demonstrated in a landmark 1968 study that humans reliably prefer things they have encountered more frequently. The mere exposure effect. You have heard your bone-conducted internal voice tens of millions of times. You have heard your actual recorded voice, at best, a few dozen times in your life. Your recorded voice is essentially a stranger. And strangers, as your ancient nervous system will remind you, are not automatically trusted. This is an evolutionarily novel experience. For nearly all of human history, no recording technology existed. The only people who ever heard exactly how you sounded were the people around you. You never did. Your brain never needed to reconcile those two signals because the external signal was simply unavailable. There is one more layer almost no one talks about. When you hear your recorded voice, you lose control of the presentation. In every real conversation, you make thousands of micro-adjustments, tone, pace, pitch, emphasis, based on feedback from the other person. A recording strips that away. What is left is a static version of you, frozen in a single moment, with none of the context and none of the control. You hear yourself as a finished object, not as a living process. And that, for a creature as self-aware as you are, is deeply uncomfortable. The anthropologist Robin Dunbar has argued that the human voice evolved primarily as a social bonding tool, a long-distance form of grooming. Your voice is not just an expression of thought, it is a social organ. And when that organ suddenly sounds wrong, even slightly, the reaction is almost visceral. So tonight, if a video surfaces and your voice comes through the speaker and that familiar cringe arrives, you will know what it actually is. It is not vanity. It is not insecurity. It is your brain encountering the one version of yourself it was never designed to hear. The you that exists when you are not listening. And somehow, that version has been out there the whole time, meeting everyone you have ever met, saying everything you have ever said, sounding exactly like that. Always, without you ever knowing.